Hi everyone, it's Chrissy and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're actually going to be starting our rebuild Copperdale project, and even though I have done a couple of builds in Copperdale at this point, I haven't really started on like making any progress for my save file where this world is concerned. So this build is actually going to be for my save file, and it's actually going to be in the world, and it's a restaurant, and it's actually going to be owned by a family in the world that I'm going to create. And yeah, I usually don't make restaurants like owned by families. Usually when I build for my save file, I try, especially with restaurants, all of the retail lots that I've done have been like owned by a specific family. But I don't think I've done even like one restaurant build that's actually meant to be owned by someone. Usually they're just, like in the world, and they don't really like connect to a specific family, if that makes sense. Whereas this one actually connects to a family that I'm going to be creating for my save. So it's actually going to be owned by the Voss family and by one of the moms, Lillian in particular. She's going to be the one that's mainly like running the business and, taking care of it, managing it, all of that stuff. Whereas her wife has a totally different career. But yeah, so that's basically the idea for this build for my save. And yeah, I'm, like I said, going to have it owned. I have a custom menu set up for it. I have, all of the employee outfits, uniform things, set up for it as well. So yeah, everything is set up, and all of like the menu items have been like customized, and like I picked a whole menu and everything. And yeah, everything is play tested as well, so I do want to mention that I play tested it before I uploaded it to the gallery. So I came here with one of my sims, and I came and visited the restaurant as a normal sim that is just coming to eat here. And then I also play tested it in my save file, where I had my sim obviously, own the restaurant and, play around with all of the employee stuff and, everything like that. Just to make sure that the whole like management aspect of it actually works as well. And it totally does. It's completely fine. Now, the one thing that I did forget to add, I thought about adding it, and then I remembered that you don't need it for like the lot requirements, but I forgot that you kind of have a use for it in gameplay, if that makes sense, is a trash can. So a like big like outdoor trash can. So I didn't add one of those in the build. It's also not in the uploaded version on the gallery either. But you'll notice later on when we do the kitchen, you'll notice that I placed one of those freestanding sinks that came with Dine Out. If you remove that sink, because it's completely like pointless to have a sink in a restaurant kitchen, they never use it. So you can easily just remove that sink and put a like outdoor trash can thing in that space where the sink is going to be. Or what I did in gameplay in my save file is I actually just move the sink over a little bit, and then you can still fit a trash can in the space between the sink and the counter. If that makes sense, you'll see later on what I'm talking about when I get to doing the like kitchen area. But yeah, so that's just something that I forgot to add, or that I thought about adding, remembered, or like thought I remembered correctly that you didn't need it, removed it, and then in gameplay actually remembered that, oh, it does have a use. So in my save file, it's fixed and it's there, but it's not there in the uploaded version, if that makes sense. So that's something easily that you could like, just replace or add or whatever, and, have that be, there for your sims to use. But yeah, so if you don't own the lot, if you don't like play with the management aspect of a restaurant, then you won't need an outdoor trash can. Because sims will never need to like empty any of these smaller trash cans that I have in the bathrooms. But if you just, if you come here to just visit the lot, then you won't need it. But if you play like as the owner of a lot and like manage it, then you will need a big outdoor trash can. I don't know why I just spent like 3 minutes talking about an outdoor trash can. I don't know. I'm recording this in the afternoon. It's almost like 5 p.m. And as such, I should probably give the disclaimer that no, I do not usually record this early. Usually I record at like 3 a.m. in the morning when everyone is asleep, and as such you might hear my dog freaking out because obviously it's daytime and you know there are cars driving past and people walking and all of that stuff, so he like barks at everything that moves basically, and he's really loud, so you might hear the dog. It's also super windy, so if you hear any banging or weird noises in the background, then it's just the wind blowing stuff about. But yeah, so I thought I should give those disclaimers and yeah, just get them out of the way. But yeah, so back to the build. So on the exterior, especially for that deck area, you'll notice that I used those new like curtain hanging light things from the high school years pack, and using it like that and using it like on a like deck area as kind of like a little canopy type thing is actually something that I saw 𝘕𝘂𝘕 do on, I believe I saw a picture of it on Twitter, of one of her builds on Twitter that she did. She actually did a like thrifty, you know, like boba, like bubble tea shop build type thing, and actually saw a picture of it, and she had this really cool deck area with, you know, those hanging lights, or like hanging curtain lights, I guess I could say. And she had them configured a little bit differently, obviously, but I really like that idea. So I went ahead, I bookmarked the picture, and I came back to it when I wanted to build this, like, lot. I actually built this whole lot around that particular idea, you know, having those hanging curtain lights on the deck area. And also I built the lot around the big, like, bifold doors that I did. So you will have seen that at the beginning of the video. I started off with those doors already done, and I did those off camera just because it took me a while. I knew how to make them, it's just I had to use a lot of the tool mod to do that, and it was a lot of like fiddling and moving stuff around, and it was really boring to watch basically. So I just did those off camera. But that idea is actually something I saw Mr. 𝘕𝘂𝘕 do on Twitter as well. He posted a picture of an apartment or like a penthouse that he did, where he did these big bifold doors. So the doors, I say in air quotes, or like the window things, are actually those like floor glass pieces from Island Living that I used the tool mod to size down a little bit and then rotate them obviously and move them about, you know, however I needed them to be for, you know, to make it look like there's actually those big glass bifold doors. And I really like the way that looks. I've tried something like, you know, similar to this in a couple of other builds in the past, but I ended up using like windows for those builds, and obviously they were a little bit differently set up as well because I used spandrels, and it's a whole thing. But for this one, you actually use big sliding doors, or any doors really, and then you place a bunch of them on the wall, and then you use the tool mod to size those doors down. So like really tiny, you can't even see them, but they are there. They do still function as a door. And if you've ever tried to size or like scale down a door or a window, you'll know that you can scale down like the frame of it, or like, you know, basically the thing scales down, but it leaves this really weird gap in the wall where the door or the window, you know, used to be. And that area is still functional. So those doors scaled down still work, and your Sims can still go through them. You just obviously can't click on them to lock them because you can't, like, they're scaled down so small you can't even see them. But basically you're left with this big hole in the wall, like kind of like a invisible wall, if that makes sense. Except you don't have to worry about any of the weird lighting. If you, for example, if I were to use spandrels to do that, the whole interior lighting would be really weird and like outdoor lighting because, you know, technically it doesn't think there's a wall. So it's a whole thing. But doing it this way, where you scale down the doors, actually means that it's still an enclosed room, but, you know, you have this big open wall, and then you use, you know, whatever you want to use to make your bifold doors. You don't have to use those Island Living pieces. You could probably use some other dividers as well. You could use windows if that's something you like the look of. But yeah, so that's just something that I thought I would explain. I probably explained it really badly because, yeah, I usually suck at explaining stuff. But yeah, that's just something that I did. And like I said, I built the whole like lot around that idea. Around, you know, the big glass doors and the patio light things. So yeah, I really like the way this turned out though. I had a lot of fun building this. It was one of those builds that kind of just came together, and I didn't have to think too hard about anything. It kind of all just flowed. And yeah, I'm really happy it turned out this way, and like I said, I really like the way it turned out. So most of the dining space for this restaurant is actually outside, but I did put a couple of all the canopy of the deck area it's all filled with those glass pieces from Island Living, so it's technically undercover, so if it rains or something, your Sims won't get wet. I also put a couple of those space heater things from Dine Out on the patio, so if it's colder outside, they still have some, warmth out there. I also included this little bar area, and if you play with this, if you have just your Sims visiting this lot and, you don't play with the management aspect of it, then the lot will actually just spawn a bartender. So if you come here and maybe you want to play, but you don't want your Sims to, sit down and, eat, but you still want them to come here and pretend that, they're just going for drinks or something, then the bar totally works. Or if you have your Sims come here for food and, they have to wait a little bit for their food, then, you can go to the bar, order a drink, all of that stuff. And I believe if you play, managing this lot, I can't remember when I playtested the whole, management aspect. I believe it also spawned a random bartender. I don't think my Sim didn't hire one, but I do believe that there was one on the lot that the game just spawned because I had a bar on a community lot. So yeah, I can't remember that, so I might be wrong with that one. But if you just come to visit it, then obviously it will spawn a bartender and be totally fine. But yeah, so that's just something that I thought I should mention. Now, if you want to download this build, it is up on the gallery. It's up on the gallery under my gallery ID, which is ChrissieYT, or just, search for my hashtag, or check out the download description, or not the download description, the download link in the description, as well as all of my other gallery info and all of that stuff, or everything's in the description. And like I said, everything is playtested, everything works. The big open door wall thing also works. Your Sims can get everywhere, they can access everything, use everything, sit everywhere. So yeah, everything is totally playtested, and I set up a whole menu and waiter, hostess, chef outfits, everything like that. So yeah, that's just something I should mention. And the family that I will have owning this lot, the Voss family, I'm hoping to have a creator sim of them up on the channel probably sometime next week. It's taking me a little bit of time to create them because I'm not really in a creator sim mood the past couple of days, so I haven't been able to finish creating them. I've shared a couple of pictures of the two moms and I believe one of their kids. I shared a picture of one of their teenagers on Twitter, I believe, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I shared a picture of the two parents and then one of the children. But yeah, if you follow me over on Twitter, you probably already know who I'm talking about. And if you don't follow me over on Twitter, then yeah, links are in the description. I always share not early access, but early work in progress pics and sneak peeks and all of that stuff. Twitter always sees them first. Sometimes I'll share them on the community tab here on YouTube as well. But yeah, Twitter always sees those first. So yeah, definitely go ahead, follow me over on there. And also that's also where I post channel updates and video updates and all of that stuff. So yeah, definitely go check ahead and check that out. I can't speak because I'm trying to talk so quickly. But yeah, so that's basically everything about the build I think that I wanted to mention. I tried not to clutter it up too much. So on the tables there are only a little menu and nothing more, just to make sure that there was space for everything, for all of the plates and drinks and everything that your Sims would have set down on the table if they eat there. But yeah, so the whole build works fairly well. Like I said, everything is accessible, works, all of that stuff, apart from the usual dine out bugs, the employees just standing around outside, especially the chefs. For some reason I noticed that every single time I came to this restaurant, the chefs would just stand outside forever, and they would never go inside and do their work. It took me forever to just get them inside and to get to cooking, which is just, it's not a problem with this build, because once they did, you know, they did everything fine. It's just one of those annoying dine out bugs where they spawn on the lot and they come here and then they just stand around doing nothing. Same with the waiters, they also took forever, but again, that's just a Sims dine out thing and not a, yeah, it's not something I can do anything about, basically. But yeah, so we've just moved on to doing a little bit of landscaping. I try to keep the landscaping as natural and as like almost kind of wild as possible, to try and make it fit in with the surroundings as much as I could, especially because this lot doesn't really have a road connecting to it. It's kind of just in the middle of nowhere. But it does have a really, really nice view of the lake and, you know, of the pier and everything. So yeah, it's on a really nice spot. It's just, you know, there's no road connecting to it. So trying to figure out how to make it blend in was a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, so that's basically everything. Like I said, it's up on the gallery. It costs just under 70,000 simoleons if your Sims want to buy it and run it. But yeah, all of the information will be in the description as usual. If you like this video, give it a like. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But yeah, like I said, I will try and have the creator sim for this family up sometime this week, as well as that really big school build that I'm still working on. That should also be out hopefully this week as well. But I hope you're all having a great day and that you've had a good weekend, and I'll talk to you in my very next video. Bye everyone!
I think that I'm going to hiding somewhere by a gated star. Baby, they ain't never gonna find me. I'm a renegade. I could be the one who saved you from this hard place. We could be as one and we'll escape. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside me. Take away the pain, we can go insane. I can feel it, it burns inside me. We could run away, we don't gotta stay. I can feel it, it burns inside me. Take away the pain, we can go insane. Trust me, I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Yeah, I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Oh, I won't let you down. We could have the world to ourselves, going to a place that's far, staring at the stars.